Hi guys. So here's chapter 6 of our story, The Sword Girl. The last time she found out that the king's sword had been stolen, and it might look like she did it if she's not careful. So we're moving on to chapter 6 in our story, The Sword Girl. Stolen, Tommy gasped, but that's impossible. Who would steal Sir Walter's sword? Sorry, not the king, but Sir Walter. We don't know, dearie, said Nursey. It must have happened in the middle of the night when we were asleep. Tommy hardly dared to ask her next question. What did Sir Walter say when he couldn't find his sword? Did he say anything about me? He demanded to know where the keeper of the blades was, but Nursey managed to put him off, said Bevan with a chuckle. He'll be back, though, said Nursey. You'd better find that sword in a jiffy, or not even Sir Benedict will be able to save your job. But I don't know where to start, said Tommy desperately. Why don't you ask Lil, said Jasper. She knows everything that goes on around the castle. Remember, these are all swords she's talking to, not real people. Yes, said Tommy. That's a great idea. She raced through the armory and out into the courtyard. The castle was just starting to stir, and the courtyard was coming to life. Chambermaids were gossiping as they aired their mistresses' sheets. A groom was leading a messenger's horse to the stables, and masons were busy repairing a section of stone wall. But where was Lil? Tommy scanned the courtyard anxiously, at last spotting the black and white cat stretched out in a puddle of sunshine, observing the goings-on around her. Tommy ran over to Lil. Lil, she said, you have to help me, please. The cat turned her watchful green eyes on the sword girl. What's wrong, Tommy? Someone has stolen Sir Walter's sword, Tommy told her, and if I don't find it quickly, I'll be sent back to the kitchen. She gulped. Maybe she'd even be forced to leave Flaming Castle. Lil sprang to her feet. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. The words sent a shiver down Tommy's spine. They were the same words Reynard had said when he found out that Tommy was the new sword girl. Lil, said Tommy, I think Reynard, the keeper of the bows, might have taken it. He wanted the job of keeper of the blades for himself. That oaf, said the cat scornfully. Not if I have anything to do with it. She lifted a paw to stroke her whiskers thoughtfully. What we need is a bird's eye view, she said. Do you mean we should climb one of the towers, said Tommy. It might be a bit hard to see the sword from up there. That won't be necessary, said Lil. We'll ask the bird's eye view to come to us. She tilted her head towards the sky. Pigeon, she called, are you there? A few moments later there was a flutter of feathers as a plump gray pigeon landed on a flagstone beside them. Not so loud, the pigeon muttered. I'm hiding. Is the physician after you again? Lil asked as Tommy stared at the talking bird. Did every creature at the castle talk? Why had she never known this before? The pigeon sighed. Here we go. There's a picture for you. The pigeon sighed. Yes, he wants my droppings for one of his potions. The bird stuck his chest out. I'm a carrier pigeon, he declared. I carry important messages. It is insulted to be hounded for my droppings. Quite, said Lil, and it seemed to Tommy that the cat was trying not to smile. Pigeon, I know you're a bit of a night owl, she continued, and you like to keep an eye, a pigeon eye, on the castle. I was wondering if you saw anything unusual happen around the armory last night. Perhaps someone sneaking out with a sword? Why, I did see someone with a sword last night, said the pigeon. It was that nasty boy who tried to shoot me down with a slingshot last week. Tommy and Lil exchanged glances. That sounds like Reynard, Tommy said. Yes, said the pigeon. That's him, Reynard. He ran out of the armory, and I remember being glad that he was holding a sword and not a slingshot. There's no way he could reach me with a sword, I thought. He climbed to the top of the south tower when the guard wasn't looking. He threw the sword over the battlements and into the moat. Tommy buried her face in her hands. Not the moat, she moaned. It's patrolled by a crocodile. We'll never get the sword back. Actually, said Lil, but she was interrupted by a squawk as the pigeon abruptly took off in a flurry of feathers. The next minute, Tommy was almost knocked over when someone barged into her from behind. What? She started. She turned to see a short, round man in a brown robe. His gaze was fixed on the sky. It's the physician, Lil said in a low voice. Where is that pigeon? The physician was saying to himself. Sir Walter the Bald is suffering and is in need of a cure. What's wrong with Sir Walter? Said Tommy. The old Rex hasn't mentioned that he was ill. Mental confusion, said the physician. Poor Sir Walter. He was in the sword chamber very early this morning, checking his favorite sword, when he thought he heard his old nurse's voice telling him to hurry back to bed, dearie, and don't make a fuss. Of course, it was all in his head. Sir Walter's nurse died some 50 years ago. Nursey, Tommy said, realizing one of Nursey's little darlings must have been Sir Walter the Bald. The physician gave her a puzzled look. "Are you suffering from mental confusion too, girl?" "No," Tommy assured him. "Anyway," the physician continued, "the most effective cure for mental confusion is to mix pigeon droppings with honey and apply the mixture to the back of the patient's neck. Now, where is that pigeon?" The physician lifted his gaze to the sky once more and wandered off across the courtyard. "Quick," said Lil, "this way." Tommy followed Lil under the low arch leading out of the courtyard and through the castle gate. Once outside the walls, they ran to the edge of the moat. Looking down into the murky water, Tommy knew it was hopeless. There was no way they'd be able to spot the sword in the sluggish, weed-choked water of the moat encircling the castle. And even if they did spot it, there was still the matter of, "Ah!" Tommy screamed in terror as a hideous beast emerged from the water. Its enormous jaws opened wide to reveal two jagged rows of sharp teeth. "Crocodile!" That's the end of that chapter. I don't know if she can talk to, like, swords and pigeons and cats. Maybe she can also talk to the crocodile. We'll have to see.